Hello, Internet people. Welcome back to Planet Uncultured. I'm Eli, and I'm here once again to talk about Teen Titans, because that's all I really know. Now, if you were to ask an average Teen Titans fan what their favorite episode is, the answer you would most likely hear is Haunted. And honestly, I would say the same thing. It's a very dark episode for Teen Titans. And that's not to say that Teen Titans has not dabbled in darker subject matters, but for some reason, this one just stands out amongst the rest. It just shows Robin's eerie descent as he struggles with his own personal demons of obsession and addiction, and how it almost consumes him until he quite literally is saved by seeing the light thanks to his friends. Not to mention that great twist about the gas and all that other thing. Honestly, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. Maybe I'm biased, but I would say it's the best episodic twist in a show ever. The only thing I can think of that comes close to it is that one episode of Young Justice called Failsafe. If you can think of another one, let me know in the comments. And I'm not talking about a twist that was built over a season. I'm talking about a twist that happened in one episode. Anyways, despite how great Haunted is, there's always been one thing that has been stuck in my craw ever since I saw that episode for the first time, and that would be the ending. I will just play a clip now so you can see what I'm talking about.
What is it?
The reagent in Slade's mask didn't trigger itself. There was a signal. Somebody triggered it. From outside the tower.
It's a pretty cool cliffhanger, I guess. Just there to spice it up a lot at the end. Except, it really falls apart when you think about it for more than like a second. I mean, just so many questions. Just on face value. How would that work at all? How would the person outside know Robin would grab the mask? And how would they know the exact time to activate the gas? Also, would that benefit Slade in any way at all to have it manually activate instead of just automatically turning on when someone tries to remove his mask? I mean, as you can see, I have many questions that have kept me up at night as I try to search for answers. But undoubtedly, the biggest question is, who activated the gas? So, to finally end this nightmare and get the answers I so desperately need, I decided to round up a list of suspects from both the internet and my own thoughts, present them in front of you, and let you be the judge. These sussy bakas will be in the order of least probable to most probable. So let's jump into it. So this one I have at the bottom for a few reasons. As interesting of a theory as I think it is, this is definitely something that's up Joker's alley. He's a master of mind games and misdirection. Also, it would be an interesting way to introduce the character, I think. My problem with it is the Joker's never been mentioned or seen in the Teen Titans show, so I think it would be a little weird. Secondly, how would the Joker have known about the gas? I don't think there's an evil Facebook out there that villains are using to chat with each other. So it's a fun theory, just too many problems for me. Also, evil Facebook would just be regular Facebook, the more I think about it. Okay, hold on. I know what you're thinking. Who? And honestly, that's fair enough. I don't blame you. He only appeared in 2 episodes of the show. He was actually in the first ever episode acting as Slade's butler. He's also Slade's butler in the comics. He kind of acts as his Alfred, in a sense. But I'm talking about the actual main continuity Teen Titans comics, which has no bearing on this, so whatever. But he was quickly dropped after that first episode with no explanation. Apparently, after that, he got romantically involved with the Hive Mistress, another character that really only had one appearance, showing up in the episode that introduced Jinx, Gizmo, and Mammoth. Wintergreen also made a very, very, very brief appearance in the Lost episode, and as one of the villains in the final battle with the Brotherhood of Evil, just to add more bodies to the mass of villains. So why would I think this character with barely any screen time is the culprit? Well, first, he has a motivation to get revenge on the Titans for killing his former employer. I mean, we know he's still in villainy, as we've seen him with the Brotherhood of Evil, so perhaps he joined up with them after his first plan to destroy the Titans had failed. But it would be pretty disappointing for this old man we barely ever seen to be the mastermind. Or would it? Does that make it the perfect plot twist? No, it would still be disappointing. This one feels like a no-brainer, right? And should be at the top of the list. But actually, it's not. There's one more person I think is a better candidate than Slade. It's obvious why Slade has a very good case as to why he was behind everything. I feel like that's what we're supposed to infer from that ending, but I just don't buy it. Here's why. We know Slade was brought back due to Trigon, and I don't think Trigon would care to let Slade go and carry out his little revenge scheme of his. Honestly, I don't think Slade would care either at this point. Now that he's been brought back for this higher calling of being the messenger for the end of the world, thinking, what's the point in doing this when Trigon's just going to wipe out all these teens soon enough anyways? And thinking about earning his humanity back is probably pretty high on his list as well. I think that glowing eye at the end is meant to show that Slade has just been remade by Trigon, though. So I do think that there is something to that. Also, I like to think that Trigon just told Slade to let Trigons be bygones.
Thank you. You're all too kind. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness, thank you. This is too much, really. Thank you.
Finally, the last and best theory, in my opinion, about who is the culprit. The reason I think it's Ravager over Slade is because, well, she has a free will to do so, first off. Secondly, she would have knowledge of the gas, I would think, and she has the motivation as well. Revenge for the death of her father. Now, you may be thinking this theory falls apart due to the fact that Ravager was never in the show or mentioned. Therefore, it's impossible. She's not canon. Kind of like the Joker. But oh my sweet, silly viewers, little do you know, she is canon. After the cancellation of the show, Teen Titans comics were made to wrap up some storylines and introduce new characters that didn't appear on the show. You probably see where this is going. Yes, Ravager is one of those characters, and yes, the comics are canon. So we know she does exist in this universe. She has the motivation and the means. So all that is why I think Ravager is most likely the person behind all this. I think this would be a great way to introduce her, and this could have been a setup to do that, though sadly we will never see that happen now. So now all I can do is patiently await her in Young Justice because she would be perfect for that show. Honestly, I'm amazed she hasn't. I think she's just a really cool character and she deserves more attention. So hurry up and do it, Young Justice, you cowards.
So, there you go. You now have all the evidence in front of you. I'll let you be the judge of who you think is guilty. Let me know who you think it is in the comments below, or if you think there's somebody else that I didn't mention, let me know in the comments as well. Or if you think I'm just some crazy person that has too much time on his hands and needs a life, all I have to say to that is, fair enough. Honestly, that ending was probably just meant to be one last dramatic twist for the audience, and it was really never meant to have an answer. And I can accept that, but it still doesn't mean it doesn't bother me, or it makes it any less fun to think about and theorize. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Man, I'm bad at these intros. Outros. God. Alright, I'm going to catch you guys all on the flip side. Later, haters?